A couple of months ago, I bought this A3 3-door pre-facelift 8V 2-litre TDI front-wheel drive manual, and it was poorly. White smoke coming out of the exhaust. It wouldn't rev, and it just all round not in great condition, which is why I picked it up cheap. And also had a 2-litre diesel, which sounded like this. But 2 months later, it now sounds like this. Now it sounds the part, we need to finish off making it look the part. Now this is actually part 7, so if you want to go back and watch the other parts in this series, click in the top right hand corner and go and watch those. But for now, let's make this look like an RS3 3-door. Now since the last video, I actually got carried away one day last week and just started doing little bits and pieces, and I didn't end up filming any of that. So I'm just going to run you through what has changed since the last video quickly. And we're going to start off with the near side headlight. I bought a brand new headlight. I bought a brand new ballast to go on the bottom because that was also flooded. Plugged that in, headlights both now work and they are fine. I fitted both front wings and I fitted one of my folding mirrors from the Rs3. Now, when I stripped the door card on both the Rs3 and this one, obviously we're going to have a few differences because folding mirror, more wires. There was also a few other differences, like the switches were different. I've fitted the Rs3 door handle, which has a hole in it here, whereas the other one I haven't done yet, you can see hasn't. And also, if you look, because I didn't have folding mirrors, I didn't have this button here. I just had the one in the middle for the heated element. And when you have folding mirrors, they get rid of the middle one and they put them one on each end. So you can see I've still got the hole, but I've had to basically drill out 2 holes here to fit my new switch, because I've obviously had to use this switch from the Rs3 because it has the folding mirror function. Fitted all that fine. The main control module for the door was exactly the same part number as the Rs3 one. So all I ended up doing was reprogramming the A3's door module to accommodate the folding mirror. Tested it. Well, actually, I can just show you. Tested it and told it it's got a folding mirror, and now it works absolutely fine. So that's the folding mirrors done. Obviously I haven't done the other side yet, so it's not going to fold. So one folding mirror done, tested it, all good. That was one of the things I was worried about. Oh yeah, I fitted one of my TTRS seats as well, and this is the one I had to put a new seat base on it, so I ended up buying a TT seat and swapping over the seat base and putting it on this. I have plumbed it all in properly, and I checked the codes. There are no codes for that seat, so I'm happy that the seats are going to work fine as well. And that is pretty much all I've done, to be fair. A few other bits I've done in the background, such as the rear bumper and diffuser, because I don't have one of those yet. Now, welcome to my parts store. I actually ordered off eBay a 3-door S3 rear bumper. It was about 150 quid. Came with the diffuser, which I was pretty sure I wasn't going to use it anyway because it's slightly different to the Rs3 one. Here's an Rs3 rear bumper I've got actually with an Rs3 diffuser, but this is pre-facelift, and obviously it's slightly different to facelift, so I wouldn't be able to use this anyway. But I started unwrapping it, and I mean, just look at it. Just got random holes in the bumper. It's cracked here, look. This bit here is missing where the wheel arch liner bolts to. Parking sensors I think are okay, but this was described as like a really good condition bumper, and it's just an absolute pile of crap. And looking at other adverts, it's about 300 quid, and even those, there's not one perfect bumper online for sale. Every single one has at least one issue, and yeah, I was going to say the more expensive ones are 300 quid. So I got very quickly bored of messing about finding used bumpers, and I just went to Audi Direct, bought a brand new bumper for 450 quid, which isn't actually that much more expensive, but it's brand new in primer, 3-door. It's an S3 bumper with parking sensors, without a diffuser, but I've bought a diffuser, which should be here any day now. But all the lugs are going to be fine, there's going to be no damage to it, and it's going to go on perfectly, and it's just ready for paint. So right now, the order of play is going to be getting the Rs3 door back into the workshop, and we need to take off the rear axle. Bob is coming down tomorrow to weld in that new crossbeam, And then once he's done that, we can fit the tank properly and also fit my RS3 brake lines. So then we can connect them up to the rear axle, which means we can get brakes, which means we can finally take the car for a spin, because at the minute, obviously it starts and runs, but we can't drive it without brakes. So let's just get her fired up. And into the workshop. Now, this was one of the major parts we had to do to the car, and that is alter the floor pan to the rear so it could accommodate the four-wheel drive system. And obviously, I got Bob in from the machine shop to do that for me. I used the RS3 boot plan, we welded in the RS3 battery tray, and then we welded it to the floor of the 8.3 front-wheel drive so it can accommodate the four-wheel drive system. But we thought the best way to do this was just to cut out what we need and not interrupt all the factory welds around the edge of the car, because it's not going to look as nice if we did that. So when we cut it out, Bob welded it in fully, including the battery tray, back to the back of the car as well. And then I went over it with some seam sealer and painted it. And if I'm honest, it's come out really well. So a massive thanks to Bob from the machine shop for coming down and helping out. Now, he does have a workshop over in Leicestershire, which is a DIY workshop which you can use all the facilities at, and he also does welding lessons too. So I'm going to put a link to the machine shop in my description. Go check them out, because there is no one better at fabrication and welding than Bob. So I had a bit of a result with the fuel tank. I've just put a riv nut in the chassis here, so that is all good to go for my tank strap here. And I just went to do the same with the other side and realised I do actually have a hole in the chassis. It was just covered up by a little sticker that covered the hole. So I went to drill and it just went straight through. So I was like, sweet, we already have a thread. So I can now just put the fuel tank up properly. Right, I'm now just fitting my new brake pipe. Well, one's brand new. The other one was on back order, so I'm just having to use the old one from the RS3 outside, which I've just got to go and unplumb. But I thought I'd put the new one in first. Well, try and get it in position anyway. Now I just need to feed the rest of the brake pipe into its location, but annoyingly I had to drop the fuel tank again to get it up and over it. So I know it's the right length here, look, because it's perfectly tucked up into the wheel arch liner here with it plumbed in. That's perfect gap. So I'm obviously, I don't know where it's longer. Right, now I've just got the other used brake pipe from the RS3. So with both my brake pipes now in position and also my battery cable as well, which also went over the fuel tank, I can put the fuel tank back in, and now I need to drill holes in the boot pan so I can get the battery cable up into the boot, which then connects to the battery. So some really good progress with the boot floor, and I have just spent some time painting it Sprint blue. As you can see here, look, it's just drying now, but I am so happy with how this looks. I'm really happy with my decision to cut into it as well and weld round sort of here, look, because with the seam sealer on it now, it almost looks factory. Like you would second guess whether this was a factory floor or not once the paint obviously dries around the edge, because if I had gone to the outer bits, there's no way in hell that would have looked that clean like that. It would have looked a bit of a mess. So I'm really happy with how that's come out. And yeah, I think that you would be hard pressed to know that that wasn't a factory finish. On the underside, I've gone for some under sealer. I've just sprayed it all on the underside there. So yeah, super happy with that. So while that is drying, so I'm now going to spend some time working on this rear axle. I'm going to put the, so my brakes on the front aren't red. So I'm going to take the brakes and discs, because these are in bad condition, and the disc carrier off the other RS3, swap all those over because they're in better condition. I'm also going to swap the shocks over because this one had mag ride and my one doesn't. So I'm going to put the other shocks on it as well. And with all those removed, I've just started here with a wire brush. I'm brushing up all this here. And yeah, when I've got those removed, I'm going to mask it all off. And the subframe, I'm actually going to spray with the underseal just to, yeah, really protect it for the future and stop it basically rusting any further. And once I've done with that, we can then, well, I need to remove a few bits here, remove this brake line, and then we'll be ready to fit it back to the car. So it's very messy, there's a lot of dirt, but I've cleaned up this side of the axle now. I'm not going to do anything major, but I've just got rid of as much rust as I can over the subframe itself and just coated it with some underseal just to prolong its life. And I've just cleaned up everything, fit the disc guard from the other car, and also put some underseal on that as well. I have quickly gone over the disc with the wire brush just to clean all the excess rust off. As soon as I start braking, the rest of that will come off anyway. Fitted the caliper from the other RS3 and just connected everything back up. Also fitted the damper as well. So we are all nice and pretty much clean and ready to go this side. Just in contrast, I haven't done this side yet, look. So you can see all the bits that I've just got, I've sanded down as much as I can. Just need to put some underseal on it, and you can see obviously this disc guard which will be going. I'll put the other one on it, and just cleaning up all this. So I'm going to skip ahead this part, and next clip you'll see the rear axle going back onto the car. Now this time I'm not going to put the springs in because ultimately that was my problem last time. So fingers crossed it should go in a lot easier this time around. Now I've got this aftermarket diffuser as well. With matte aluminium styling package because that's what we're going for. So I'm just going to offer this up to see how she fits. Guessing it just clips in like that. And it also comes with these cool tips that a bit like the RS3 8Y, the new one, whereas, well, like a lot of RS products as well, the exhaust isn't actually part of the tips aren't actually as part of the exhaust. They're part of the bumper, and then the actual tip just sits central like that. So that's what this one's going to do. So it's going to bolt to the crash bar. It's going to sit like that, and yeah, it's going to look cool. So when I adapt the exhaust, I'm going to cut the old tips off and just have it so it's going to sit like that, and that looks sick, especially with this like effect in here. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, no, that looks good. I like this effect inside here, that looks cool. Right, so now I've got all my brakes connected. I have just connected the brake bleeder to the front, pumped it up to 2 bar of pressure, and I'm now just pushing fluid through the lines. I've started from the furthest caliper away from the master cylinder. So we're at the near side, we're at the minute. I'm going to do 250 mil in each one. So I'm going to go rear left, rear right, front left, front right, finish there, and hopefully we'll have some brakes. I'm probably going to have to do an ABS base bleed because obviously all the ABS valves need to open in the pump because it's lost all its fluid. So I probably won't have decent brakes until I get that done. But as long as I can stop for now, that will do. So the new rear bumper and the diffuser is now on, and it does look epic. I've just put the actual original RS3 alloys back on so we can kind of have a look at the complete rear end. Although it's not finished color-wise, and actually I need to get a spoiler cap as well, but it's looking really good at the rear, looking like an RS3. Battery in position there, not bolted down yet, but it's in its tray. Really, really happy with this boot floor. I just looked at it, just went, it's like a work of art, that. So yeah, really happy with that. I have just reversed the car off the ramp, reversed it back 2 foot, and it did go backwards. I do have some brakes. As I said, they're not great because I need to do a base bleed on the ABS pump, but we do have a bit of a pedal, so that's good. So now I'm going to concentrate on doing the rest of the interior. So I'm going to wire up my seatbelt, extend the wiring loop for my seatbelt. So I'm going to wire in the rear speakers, and I've also got to drop the headlining to change the wiring here for this one here, so it plugs into the airbags and goes across to the new lights in the center console because I'm changing them from halogen to the LED ones. The same for that one over there, so I need to drop the headlining to do that. And then, oh crap, I still haven't ordered a gear gate. I need to do that, and then I've got to put the rest of my center console back together and my under trim down there, and put the RS3 steering wheel on, and yeah, we'll be so close. So to lengthen these seatbelt airbag plugs, I've actually cut the original plug out the loom of the 3-door wiring loom, and I'm just going to cut it off here and then just splice it in here. Look, so we've just got one connection instead of two. I've done the same with the other side. I've just got to connect it up, and I'll just be using straight crimp plugs. Won't be using any solder, so I don't mess around with the resistance or anything like that. So I'm just going to connect those up now, and then just got to do the speaker wiring too. So now I need to drop the headlining so I can reroute the wiring to the airbags, the side curtain airbags, and also I'm changing the interior lighting from the halogen ones to the LED ones that are in the RS3. And to do that, I need to change the whole wiring loom too, because it is different. But once I've done that, I can connect it all back in place, and that is done. And next up is the other TTRS passenger seat. I just need to bolt that in, and the connections are all the same from the RS3 ones, so that is just plug and play. Cold start, it's going to be loud. No engine management light though. So with the car now spun around and a bit more room at the front end, we can put the headlights in, we can put the front bumper on, we can connect all those up, and then it will start looking like a proper RS3 3-door. And next up is the washer tank, and it is different from the A3 ones because there's just not enough room in the engine bay, so it goes in the near side front wing, but I don't think I've got the connections for it.
No holes to bolt this on, which isn't a great start. Just gonna go check the RS3, make sure I'm not missing anything first.
No, I wasn't missing anything. I needed to drill 2 new holes into my chassis and a couple of riv nuts.
Lovely. Done. Right, that's that bolted in now. That's pushed perfectly into there. So I just need to connect up a little bit of wiring in here. Like that. Like that. That clips into there. Like so. Clips into there like so. Done. Now the part I've been waiting for this whole project, which is going to complete the look of the RS3, is now the front bumper.
Now this whole front end is obviously off the RS3, so there should be no issues bolting this up whatsoever.
Right, now I'm going to do that thing that would have been so much easier when the engine was out, and that is change the downpipe so I can then fit it to my standard catback, and I'm hoping that should just be right. So I'm going to struggle getting this intake pipe off, and then hopefully it will come out without having to drop the subframe because she's a chunky cat. Right, I managed to just go back up the top and knock the clamp off, and now it's free. I just need to pray now that it's going to come nicely through this gap because I can't be bothered to start dropping subframes again. please come through this gap. Oh, please come through this gap. You're not going to come through this gap, are you?
Now, annoyingly, there's a cover that goes over the prop shaft, and that is completely in the way. And to remove that, I need to remove the offside drive shaft cover as well. Just all a bit of a pain in the arse.
Right, managed to finally get that last bolt out, which was an absolute pain in the arse. So now this should just pull off, like so. Or just get it out of the way. Now this better fit through this bloody hole, I'm telling you. Don't be a dick. Whoa. If I've got to drop this subframe anyway, I'm going to be fuming, which I think I do. Alright, there we go. It's not even that big, and that was a pain in the arse. Right, the good news is, my new one should be a lot smaller, which means I should be able to just put my heat shields back in now. So here is our standard cat, and then what we're replacing it with from Scorpion. So this isn't a D-cat, because I still want it to be able to pass MOT. Can't be asked with the hassle. So I've gone sports cat. So it won't be too dissimilar to standard. Probably a little bit noisier, but a lot more efficient. So that'll go there like so. Sports cat there, which actually is really interchangeable. So if I wanted, I could get a D-cat pipe there and just put it across, and then straight in there into our dual section, and then we can hook it up to the standard back box. I've just put my heat shield in loosely because I nearly forgot about that, and obviously with the exhaust off, best time to do it. So that's now in position. Oh crap, I forgot, I've got to do that bolt up there, which I've left undone. So this should now be nice and easy to get on. Beautiful. Right, so now I've got this loosely in position, I can now marry up the standard system and hopefully it goes on. It might be 6 centimeters too long. I already do know I've got to cut the tips off though, so let's drag her in and see what the crack is. Now to cut the tips off, I'm just going to cut just inside this weld here, and that will remove the tip, and then hopefully that will just fit in there perfectly where the new exhaust sits. And if we do need to adjust the length of it, then we can very easily do that because we've got 2 nice little straights here. So if we have to cut 6 centimeters out there, we can do it there, no problem.
So we're outside and I'm ready for a first little road. It's not a road test. I'm just going to go up and down the drive. We are nowhere near road legal status yet, but we are at a point where I can go for a little drive, test the gears, test the gearbox, test the four-wheel drive, make sure nothing falls off, make sure it actually works. So, even my exhaust valves work. Heard them. Right. I've got no engine management light on. The only lights I've got is for stuff that I haven't plugged in yet, like windscreen wiper. I mean, there's lots of ancillary little things I haven't plugged in, like speakers, windscreen wipers. Well, in fact, the wiper motor's not even plugged in. Parking sensors, ambient temperature sensor. There's loads of little bits still. I haven't even got an intake fitted, because we've still got to fit the Revo intake as well. But let's get a couple of static rev shots. I'll tell you what, Dazza engine with just a downpipe, perfect. Not too loud. But it sounds sweet. Got a heated seat works. Yeah, that feels good. In fact, brakes feel all right, you know. They don't feel nowhere near as spongy as I thought they were going to. Engine sounds sweet. Like, just think, this is a standard catback. I've only got a sports downpipe on, so it's not too dissimilar to standard. But it just goes to show why Dazzers are sought after. We're feeling good. I can't feel any knocks and bands. It drives in a straight line. Nah, I'm happy with that. That's really good. That sounds epic. Drives really nice, actually. So that is a very successful first little drive. I'm happy with that. Obviously, I'm going to do a four-wheel alignment as well, because obviously everything's been off, obviously. But it's actually driving in a straight line. And it's hot, so coolant works. Which means my matrix works as well, so that's good. Success! So obviously I am buzzing with the progress in today's video. Got so much done and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We've got a few little things to do. And the hardest bit is actually going to be the side skirts, because I do have to adapt those and I don't actually know how to get them off of this without damaging them yet. So that is going to be the first thing we do in the next video. But other than that, it's very minor things. Wheel arch liners, a few trims, plugging a few more lights, and the Rs3 3-door will be ready to go off for some tracking and MOT, and then I think everyone wants to know the legality of the car as well. So we're going to be sorting that out in the final video as well, guys. And also, I've kind of left it like this because it's going to look completely different to this in the next video. We are going, well, you're just going to have to wait and see, but we've obviously got the carbon intake to fit and also the Vossen alloys with new tyres as well. So let me know, what do you think to today's video, guys? Did you enjoy it? And are you seeing the light at the end of the tunnel as well? I mean, the Rs3 sounds epic. And in the next video, guys, it's gonna look epic as well. If it doesn't already, that is. Cheers, guys.